Now, in 2025, there are so many amazing pickaxes for you to use, but today, guys, we're going to be looking at the 40 best pickaxes for 2025. This list is going to include some TRYHARD pickaxes, some brand new pickaxes, and of course, some pickaxes that we have never talked about on the channel before. So make sure you watch this entire video and make sure to go down and hit the subscribe button if you are new as well. Let's just get straight into it, and we are starting off with the Joker's Revenge. Now, this has actually returned to the store, and it does seem like this is going to be in the store for a while as well. This is part of the last half bundle, so it does set you back around $40, which is quite expensive, but this bundle is definitely worth it. You get some other amazing items in this, but I feel like the Joker's Revenge is one of the more underrated pickaxes from this bundle. No one ever really bought it because of how expensive it is, but hopefully this time around people understand how good these items are and definitely do pick it up, because not only are the pickaxes amazing, but the skins are really good as well. Next up though, guys, we have another collab pickaxe, and this is Michon's Katana. This is actually one of the first ever katanas that we had in Fortnite, but I still feel like it is one of the best. The design for this is so good. It does fit in with pretty much every single skin that has ever been added to the game as well. So if you are a try-hard player, I feel like this is definitely perfect for you guys to use. Obviously, this is quite expensive because it was the first katana that we had in Fortnite, so there are some other cheaper options now in the game, but still, this is definitely something that we had to include in this video. The stun rod though might just be a little bit better because of how unique this actually is. I mean, it looks so different to a lot of the other pickaxes that we have seen, and that really does set it apart, but I am a big fan of this and feel like it is only going to get better in the future as well. Again, it wasn't really one of the bigger collab items that we had seen. It was really underrated, so if you guys do like the way this looks, I highly recommend picking this up the next time it's in the store. That takes us forward, guys, and next up we have the Humbug Slicer. This is actually a free pickaxe in Fortnite today, and you can actually get this as one of the Winterfest presents that we do have. So if you guys have not been opening the Winterfest presents, please make sure you do, because you can get this completely for free. I love it a lot. This is so well designed. I mean, the Winterfest pickaxes in the past have not really been as good as some of the other pickaxes from the last few years, but I feel like they did an amazing job with this. It just looks so clean, and we had to include it in this video. I feel like any free pickaxe is always going to be really good. There's just something so cool about it, and I love the way this looks so much. It might not fit in with every single pickaxe that you have though, which could be the downside for these, but we need to move on, guys, and next up we have Catwoman's Grappling Claw. Now that all the DC items are returning to the store a lot more often, I feel like this is only going to get better in the future. I love this so much, but again, the problem with these is that the DC pickaxes haven't really been that popular in the past, and even though these are now returning to the store a lot more often, I just don't know how popular this is going to be moving forward. I mean, it is so well designed. This is basically going to fit in with every single skin that you do own, but the downside for this is that it really is quite big and bulky, so we don't see a lot of people actually using this. So if you guys do actually like the bigger and bulkier skins in the game, then I feel like this could be something that you absolutely love. Let's move on, guys. Next up we have the Wrath and Sorrow. This is another really clean pickaxe. I feel like this was really well designed, but again, it is a dual-handed pickaxe, which never really gets the popularity that they deserve, because I feel like a lot of people do just prefer either the single-handed pickaxe or just the regular designed pickaxes. This is really cool though, and as far as dual-handed pickaxes go, this would have to be one of the best. The design is really simplistic, so again, it is going to fit in with every single skin that you own, but the Cold Snap might be a better choice. This is quite expensive, but this has been really good because it was actually part of Clix's locker bundle. Clix has obviously had 2 locker bundles now in Fortnite, but this was part of the first ever one, and I feel like a lot of people bought it because it was part of Clix's bundle. Obviously, whatever items Clix ends up using usually become quite popular and try hard, and there is no difference for the pickaxes either, so I feel like that is why this has been so popular in the past. I really thought it would be more popular since we have just had a Winterfest update, but that hasn't really happened. One item that has been quite popular though is actually going to be Pankiri. This was just added to the game with the Doberman skin. This again is a big meme skin from Chapter 6 Season 1. We've seen a lot of people using this, and I feel like the fact that this is an NPC on the map as well just helps boost the popularity of this. If you are going to be picking it up in the store, make sure to use code KYROYT to help support me, but I feel like there are some other better meme pickaxes coming up very soon that are going to be better than this. Still though, this could be used as a casual pickaxe or even a try-hard pickaxe because it is quite small and simplistic, but we need to move on to a very sweaty item, and this is the Renegade Roller. Now that the Renegade Raider has returned to the store, I feel like like any items associated with Chapter 1 Season 1 or just have the name Renegade in it are going to be quite tryhard, so they've done an amazing job with this. I love this pickaxe a lot and feel like it is only going to get better in the future. This is obviously one of the oldest ones in the game, so we don't know how popular this is going to be in the future. I feel like usually a lot of the newer pickaxes are going to become more popular than this, but still I feel like we just had to include it because it has been so good in the history of Fortnite. Let's move on, guys, and next up we have the Immortal Fordru. This is actually a Fortnite crew pickaxe, so we don't know if this is ever going to return to the store, but I feel like it definitely should. This could be added back anytime because there is a clause in the Fortnite crew bundle subscription where these items can return at any time in the future. This was actually designed for the Aerie skin that was introduced back during Chapter 5. I feel like this was introduced in one of the coolest seasons of all time, but obviously not too many people really use the Fortnite crew pickaxes, and even the skins have dropped off a lot, but I still feel like all of the other additional styles for this pickaxe definitely make it worth it. It is a single-handed pickaxe with a custom animation though, and the hot dogger is actually very similar to this. Obviously this is a little bit more rare, this is just an item shop pickaxe, but the hot dogger is pretty similar to one of the smaller pickaxes in the game like the knives. I really like the design of this. It is going to fit in with all of the magma skins that we have in the game. They are definitely becoming a little bit more popular now in Chapter 6, but again we don't really see too many of these being added, so I don't know how many people are going to be using the hot dogger moving forward. I feel like it definitely deserves to be a lot more tryhard than it is right now, and I guess the pickaxe that is pretty similar to this is actually Silverhand's Katana. This actually reminds me of a bigger variant of the hot dogger pickaxe, which is really clean. This is obviously added with the Cyberpunk 2077 collab that we had added only a few days ago before 2025 started. This pickaxe is so well designed though. I feel like a lot of people bought this because Cyberpunk has been one of the more popular games over the last few years, and for that reason a lot of people are going to be using this. They could have definitely made some other designs or edit styles for this pickaxe, but unfortunately that didn't end up happening. One big meme pickaxe though that I feel like you guys need to start using today is actually the Bad Joke. This was also included with the last laugh bundle, but this would have to be the better pickaxe out of the two. The design for it is so funny. It is basically just a big squishy pickaxe, but again because the detail for this is so good, I feel like it isn't necessarily going to fit in with every single skin that we do have in the game. But if you are looking for a pickaxe that will exactly do that, then the 999 knives might be perfect for you. These were actually designed for Juice WRLD, and you could get these completely for free. That would have to be one of the best parts about this. I feel like whenever Fortnite introduces free items to the game, they usually do end up becoming quite popular and tryhard, and the 999 knives are no exception. Juice WRLD has been one of the most popular skins we've seen over the last few months as well, so it makes sense that the Juice WRLD pickaxes are also really popular in the game. The only downside for these is that they are cell shaded, and there is no variant to turn the cell shading off, so I feel like that might turn a few people away, but because of how small these actually are, I feel like a lot of people are going to love these, which is probably why they could end up becoming quite tryhard in the future. Another pickaxe that is very small though is actually the Slasher, and this is why this pickaxe has been so popular in the past. I mean, it is kind of crazy how good this actually is. I love the Slasher so much, and I feel like Fortnite could have made this a lot more expensive, but for only 500 V-Bucks it is definitely worth buying. This is the pickaxe designed for the Michael Myers skin as well, which was added with Fortnite Mares during 2023. We are going to have to wait a while for this to be added back though, because we don't really see the Fortnite Mares items returning that often. I'm a big fan of this though. Fortnite absolutely nailed this collab, and the Slasher is one of the best Fortnite Mares pickaxes of all time. I feel like it has been quite tryhard in the past, but we're going to have to wait and see if this does stay more tryhard in the future. But that takes us forward, guys, to the Throwback Axe. This is always going to be really popular in Fortnite. This is a free variant of the default pickaxe that was added during Chapter 1 Season 1, which was the first pickaxe that everyone owned in their locker. It is kind of crazy that Fortnite then added this back to the store during Chapter 3. I love this this so much though. The design for it is incredible, obviously because it is so simplistic. It is going to work in with every single skin that you own, just making this even better. But I feel like a lot of people might prefer to use pickaxes that are a little bit more detailed, or at least from a collab franchise like the Widow's Bite. This was one of the first ever Marvel pickaxes that was introduced to the game back during Chapter 1 Season 8. I really like this a lot. I feel like Fortnite did an amazing job with the Marvel collabs, and the other really cool thing about this was that this was known as one of the rarest skins in the history of the game, and then Fortnite added it back a few seasons later. That is easily the best part about it. I feel like they did such a good job with this collab that anything that they do add from the Marvel franchise is always going to be really popular, but honestly, Widow's Bite might be one of the best pickaxes we have ever seen. Sometimes though, people don't really want to use collab pickaxes that we do have in the game, and that is why I feel like it is also important to own something like the Gold Crow. I mean, this has been really popular for such a long time. It is one of the best pickaxes in the history of the game, and this is also a remake of the crowbar, which I feel like just makes it even better. If you were like me and missed out on the original crowbar, then the Gold Crow is a perfect solution for that. It looks so clean, the design for it is so well done, and honestly, the crowbars could be some of the best pickaxes ever introduced to the game. This also isn't the only crowbar featuring in this video, but you guys are going to have to wait and see what that is, because before we move on to that, we have to talk about one of the most try-hard pickaxes in the history of Fortnite, and this is the Star Wand. I mean, we just had to include the Star Wand in this video. It has been so try-hard pretty much from day one, but what is really interesting about this is that this can be used for any type of Fortnite player. I feel like meme players love this because of the funny design. We also have casual players that love this because of how cool it actually looks, and of course how many skins this actually works in well with. And then of course we do have the sweats and the tryhards that love this as well. We have seen so many pros and streamers using this throughout the years. It is almost crazy because back during Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5, it seemed like pros really only used the Star Wand, so Fortnite have obviously now remade this a few times because they realize how successful this actually is, and they realize that they could make a bunch of money from this because instead of just adding edit styles for this, they have introduced complete new remakes of this pickaxe. Before we get up to those though, we need to move on to the driver, which was introduced before the Star Wand in Chapter 1 Season 5. You actually can buy this for only 500 V-Bucks. It is one of the cheapest pickaxes in the game, and the design does not disappoint at all. It is so crazy how many people are still using this today, even though this is like 6 years old. It is one of the best pickaxes in the game as well. We have also seen this remade a few times, but I still feel like the original edit style is the best, which is something that we don't really see too often anymore. Usually a lot of remakes do become better than the original pickaxes, but the driver still is the best. I feel like we could also say something similar for the Reaper pickaxe as well. This has been remade a few times in Fortnite, but the original Reaper has to be the best. You can actually pick this up for 800 V-Bucks. This was quite popular when we had the Fortnite Mares update only a few weeks ago. That obviously brought back a lot of interest for pickaxes like this, and now that some of the OG skins have returned to the game, I feel like this is also really clean. The only downside for this though is that it isn't as try-hard as it used to be, again because it does feature in the store all the time. I feel like if this did stay as one of the rarest pickaxes in the history of Fortnite and was as rare as something like the Skull Trooper, then so many people would still be using this in the more competitive game modes. Let's move on though to a remake of the Star Wand, guys, and we have to include the Scully Scepter. I'm a big fan of this. I love the Scully Scepter so much. It would honestly be one of my favorite pickaxes in the game, and we have seen so many people maining this today. It is so well done. The only downside for this though is that we don't really see too many pros or streamers using this anymore. I mean, honestly, it is so surprising that we didn't see a Winterfest edit style of the Star Wand added to the game. I feel like that would instantly become one of the best pickaxes we have seen, but still the Scully Scepter is really well designed, and this was for the Fortnite Mares game mode. I feel like Fortnite really could have done this a little bit better though and just made this as an edit style for the original Star Star Wand, but as we sort of talked about earlier, I feel like Fortnite really wanted to make as much money from these items as they could, which is why we just saw these being introduced to the store as new pickaxes. Still though, for 500 V-Bucks, it is cheaper than the original Star Wand, which I guess is the cool part about it. Next up though guys, we need to talk about the Knuckle Daggers. These are actually collab pickaxes that were introduced with the Spider-Man Noir skin. We have had a few different iterations of Spider-Man collabs now in Fortnite. It is honestly quite insane because we are starting to have so many that I have actually lost count. I really like the Knuckle Daggers though. I feel like they are some of the more underrated Marvel pickaxes that we will see. They do of course have that cell shading to it, which is similar to all of the Spider-Man Noir skins. And of course, we also got Peter B. Parker and Spider-Punk added, so they are all cell shaded skins, so it makes sense that the pickaxes are as well. I really like this though. This could be one of the best pickaxes moving forward, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens during Chapter 6 Season 1, and then of course into Chapter 6 Season 2 as well. We haven't really talked about too many DC pickaxes though, so let's move on to the Harley Quinn Osushi pickaxe. This is actually one of the newest pickaxes in the game, and it was added with the Karuta Harley Quinn skin only a few days ago. I'm a big fan of this skin, so it makes sense that I'm a fan of this pickaxe as well. There is just something so cool about it. It is going to be one of the more try-hard pickaxes moving forward, just because I feel like it does have a really clean design, but it also looks really different to a lot of the other pickaxes that we have seen in Fortnite before. It definitely is not a traditional looking pickaxe, so if you guys are a fan of this, make sure to pick it up before the Karuta Harley Quinn skin does leave the store. I guess a more traditional pickaxe though would have to be the Candy Axe. This is really expensive though, coming in at 1,500 V-Bucks. It is kind of insane how expensive this actually is. It is one of the most expensive pickaxes in the history of the game, but still for whatever reason we see this being so popular at the moment. Obviously we did just have the Winterfest update, which I feel like is one of the main reasons why so many people are using this today. I'm a big fan of anything to do with Winterfest. I feel like Fortnite always does an amazing job with these items, and the Candy Axe is no exception. Obviously we did have the Merry Mint added a few seasons later, which is basically an edit style for the Candy Axe, but the downside for this was that this wasn't introduced as an edit style. This was introduced as a completely different pickaxe, which was a big mistake. So if you do want a pickaxe with a lot more edit styles, then something like the Gilded Naginata is probably going to be the way to go. This has to be a lot better. There are so many more edit styles for this as well, which is really going to help it and improve it. But again, this was part of a Fortnite crew bundle introduced with the Lady of Crane skin, so if you guys did not buy this bundle during December, then you might never be able to get it again. Obviously now the Fortnite crew bundles do introduce more styles every single month, so we will see more edit styles for this added over the next 5 or 6 months, which is really cool to see. But I still feel like something like the Serrated Demon Fang is going to be a little bit better. This is also one of the newest pickaxes in the game because this was designed for the Shogun X skin. This is sort of the boss of the map this season. You can find it on the floating islands, and it does drop a medallion, which is really clean. I feel like the Serrated Demon Fang though is one of the coolest swords or katanas that we do have in the game. We obviously have so many now, it is actually hard to keep track of, but there is something so cool about the design for this, so hopefully it does end up becoming a little bit more try-hard moving forward. One pickaxe though that probably won't improve too much is going to be the Spinal Slicer. I feel like this is really only popular at the moment because we do have Chapter 1 Remix in the game. With Chapter 1 Season 1 being added back to Fortnite, so many people have come back to the game and bought the Battle Pass for this season as well. This has been a big success. All of these items have been really successful, and of course the Spinal Slicer is one of the better items. This is the pickaxe introduced. I feel like they did an amazing job with this, but they probably could have made it look a little bit more realistic to what the original one was, and I feel like that would have made it a lot more popular. I mean, it probably would have never reached the popularity of something like the Axe of Champions 2.0 though, because that is just the best try-hard item I think Fortnite has ever introduced. So many pros and streamers love this. I feel like it was a little bit controversial though when Fortnite added this back to the item shop, because you could actually only get this by winning an FNCS tournament. So when Fortnite added this to the item shop for like 800 V-Bucks, we obviously had a lot of pros and streamers that were not happy about this, but it does seem like Fortnite are only going to introduce more competitive items in the future, like of course the Blade of Champions. So for that reason, I feel like the Axe of Champions is really well done and is definitely a pickaxe you guys need to buy. Obviously, the metallic look is really clean because it is going to fit in with so many people as well, but I feel like Yoda's cane might also fit in with more skins than the Axe of Champions 2.0. The cool thing about this is that this pickaxe is so simplistic, it is so small, and the design is just incredible. So for that reason, I feel like a lot of people are going to love this moving forward. The Star Wars items have never really been known as tryhard items, so it is going to be interesting to see if this does stay popular in the competitive game modes, but for the moment we just had to include it in this video. The other downside for this as well is, again, because it is part of the Star Wars franchise, they don't really return these items to the store as often as some of the other items we have in the game, but I feel like they could return very soon, and it does seem likely that Fortnite will continue to collaborate with the Star Wars franchise, only increasing the frequency that this does get added back to the store. If you do want a more traditional Fortnite pickaxe though, then we need to include the Studded Axe. This is an 800 V-Buck pickaxe in Fortnite and is known as the most tryhard pickaxe in the history of the game because of how quiet this actually is. I mean, it makes no sound when you swing it, which is the major advantage to this. So many people want to be as quiet as possible, so they do have a competitive advantage in Fortnite, and I feel like the Studded Axe does an amazing job at helping you out. Again, it does return to the store all the time because it is one of the best pickaxes Fortnite has ever introduced, and it wouldn't surprise me if we do see more styles for this being added in the future. I mean, I'm sort of surprised they haven't already added more styles for this. They definitely could make Winterfest or even Fortnite Mares variants of this, so we're gonna have to wait and see if that does end up happening, but we probably won't see too many edit styles for the Vault Guardian being added. This has already been in Fortnite for a really long time. It is one of the best pickaxes they have introduced, and again is a remake of the Crowbar pickaxe. We talked about the Gold Crow earlier, but I just feel like the Vault Guardian is a little bit better. The color style for this as well does suit so many different skins in the game, so if you are a tryhard player, you're going to love this. If you are a casual player, you're going to love this, and if you are a complete noob, chances are you are still going to love this. This also has been featuring in the store a lot more often, just improving this even more, but I feel like Vader's Katana at the moment is my favorite pickaxe. This was introduced to celebrate the Samurai Darth Vader skin being added to the game. I love this so much. I feel like it is one of the cleanest skins Fortnite has ever introduced, and I'm sort of surprised it hasn't been more popular just yet. Hopefully though, we do see more Star Wars items being added. Obviously we did just talk about Yoda's cane. Obviously there is something so iconic about Darth Vader that we just had to include it in this video, and as time goes on and more people realize how good this skin actually is, I feel like this pickaxe is only going to get better as well. That takes us forward, guys, to the Winter's Wand, which again was just introduced during Chapter 6 Season 1. I love this a lot. I'm a big fan of anything to do with Winterfest and the Winter's Wand, so this is definitely one of the best pickaxes in the game. It is very similar to Yoda's cane as well, but I feel like this could feature in the store a lot more often, just increasing how popular this can eventually become and how tryhard this can become as well. Obviously though, we have talked about a bunch of brand new pickaxes in this video though, so we may as well move on to a pickaxe that is a little bit older, and this is the Icebreaker. I mean, this is probably unlucky to not be finishing up even higher in this video. It is one of the best pickaxes in the history of Fortnite, and that won't be changing in 2025. So many pros and streamers still use this. They have basically been using it since the day it was introduced, which is just so insane because this was added in Chapter 1 Season 1. I don't think any other pickaxe has kept the popularity or the tryhard status that this has, and I'm so surprised Fortnite haven't added more styles for this because of how clean it actually looks. I really thought they would add in a Winterfest variant for this though, because it would have looked so sick, but we need to move on, guys, and next up we have the Harley Hitter. Obviously now that Fortnite is collaborating with DC once again, I feel like this is only getting better and better in Fortnite. You can pick it up for 800 V-Bucks, so it is quite expensive, but I feel like because of how well this is designed, it is so worth buying. The really cool thing about this as well is that this looks looks so different to every other pickaxe that we have in Fortnite. I mean, we haven't really had too many other pickaxes that are similar to this, so I feel like with Fortnite increasing the amount of times that the DC items are returning to the store, this will only get better in the future. So if you guys are a DC fan or just a fan of this pickaxe, then hopefully you will only have to wait a few more days in order to get it. That takes us for the guys to the number 4 position, and we have the Trusty Number Two. Yes guys, the Trusty Number Two has to be one of the best pickaxes Fortnite has ever introduced. This is actually added back during the Chapter 1 Season 3 Battle Pass, so we could end up seeing this remade in only a few months time when Fortnite do remake Chapter 1 Season 3. I love this a lot though, it is one of my favorite all-time pickaxes. They just did such a good job with this, and anything from this season of Fortnite I feel like has just been so successful pretty much since day one. The design is incredible. The additional styles for this though would have made it a lot better, but unfortunately we never saw those being added just because they weren't really a thing back during Chapter 1 Season 3, but hopefully they do introduce more styles the longer that these are in Fortnite. Let's move on guys to the number 3 position, and we have the Fiendish Wand. Now in my opinion this is one of the best items Fortnite has ever introduced and is a better variant of the Star Wand, which we have already talked about in this video. I have always been a fan of the Star Wand, but in my opinion the Fiendish Wand is just even better. This has to be one of the best remakes of a pickaxe in the history of the game. There is just something so cool about this, so if you guys do like this, I'm sure you already own it, but there is also a chance you guys didn't even know this existed. I feel like it is perfect for not only the casual players, but also the sweaty players as well, so if you are a sweat, I'm sure you already own this. It was introduced for the Fortnite Mass update though, so it could be a while before this does return to the game. It isn't good enough to be the best pickaxe in Fortnite, and neither is the Raiders Revenge, even though this has now been reintroduced to the store and will be staying in the store until the end of January. I love the fact that Fortnite have added these back. There is just something so cool about all of these OG items, but I just feel like this is one of the coolest items in the history of the game. Obviously pairing this with the Renegade Raider is going to make this one of the sweatiest combos in the history of Fortnite, so if you guys want to stand out as much as possible, then that is definitely a combo that you want to use, but it isn't good enough to be the number 1 combo in the game because we have to talk about the Leviathan Axe. This is without a doubt the best pickaxe that we have seen. So many people love this and I'm not surprised why. It is a collab pickaxe that is only featured in the store once. You can buy it for 1,000 V-Bucks though, which is quite a unique price for a pickaxe. There is something so sweaty about this though. It has always been really sweaty, and that is not going to be changing in Chapter 6 or even in 2025. But there you guys go, that is my entire video for the 40 best pickaxes to use in 2025. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and make sure to let me know what pickaxe is your favorite down below. Also make sure to click on the video on your screen now, and I'll see you guys in there.